Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. In this video, I am sharing a front yard landscaping tour with you guys. So as I'm posting this video, I know it's gonna be a couple weeks later than when I filmed it. So all of the plants and flowers and everything you see in my landscaping, the time frame is like early June, so early summer. I did post a video about a month or two ago showing a lot of these landscaping projects I was working on and taking you guys through some of the planting process. So I would say this is a little bit of a follow-up to that, so you can kind of see the change and how everything's evolving. Now, I am a newbie when it comes to gardening and plants and all of that jazz. I still don't have tons of experience. It is a learning process for me, but it has really become like one of my favorite hobbies. So without further ado, here is my summer garden front yard landscaping tour. All right, you guys, I am gonna kick off my front yard and garden tour here by my garage. Flanking each side of my garage, I have these black planter boxes that I painted last year. I power washed them this year, but they're already looking a little dirty. But in the boxes, I have two different New Guinea impatiens, Creeping Jenny, and then Caladium. I did a very similar setup last year and it looked really pretty. I am waiting for the Caladium, however you want to say it, to get a little bit of height to kind of give that dimension. Otherwise, right now they are a little flat looking. And then here's a look at the little landscaped area on the side of the house. So this year I planted all of these boxwoods. For one season, they've all had a decent amount of good growth, but I'm gonna let them grow at least until next year, and then I'm gonna try to shape them. Over on this corner here, if you watched my landscaping video a couple months ago, I moved a bunch of tulip bulbs right here, and they bloomed, they had their season, they did well, but I actually ended up moving the bulbs again. So after they were done and spent and died off, I dug up the bulbs and I replanted them all back behind these boxwoods. Thought that was just kind of a better spot for them. And then what I'm gonna do in this corner, I've got some mums that were growing from last year, so I'm probably gonna just do a display of mums here in the fall. I just planted another azalea bush here. All the azaleas were 50% off at Home Depot, so that one came home with me. And then I got this little bucket planter with the bird on it from At Home. I still haven't sorted my situation out yet, but what I'm gonna do is fill it with herbs. So right now I've got some basil up here that I need to replant, but I gotta drill some holes in the buckets and get that all set up yet. And moving along the side of the house, I just recently finished mulching for the most part. I did trim back my azaleas after they were done blooming a little bit. And can you believe I still have the tags on these shrubs? I can. And we are now moving up to the front porch. The mulch, like I said, the mulch is pretty new, so it's still looking fresh. Here's my little bird guy that I got for Christmas from my mom, the keeper of the hydrangea bushes. And these are my 3 hydrangeas. They're all the endless summer hydrangeas. I love them. They're blooming. I'm so excited. Hydrangeas are one of my most favorite flowers. And so last spring, and when we moved in, is when I did all the work up on this area. So this was all previously covered in pachysandra that was like completely overgrown on the sidewalk. So the first thing I planted in here were the boxwoods in the back. So they are a year old. They have gotten a significant amount of growth, but I don't want to cut them yet. I want to get them a little bit bigger. And again, I'm going to shape them into like a nice size ball. Otherwise, I've got a variety of shade loving plants up here. So we've got some Brunera, I think it's called. We've got a hosta. This is some sort of a lily. What is it called? Oh, it's a toad lily. So that blooms late in the season, or even in fall if I remember correctly. I've got this steel bay, I think it's called, which I've realized I'm not a fan of. Like, it's a shade loving plant, but I really don't love the look of it. So that's probably gonna move somewhere else. Then I've just got a couple of different grasses. I'm gonna kind of relay this out next year, but it's too late in the season to mess with it, so it is what it is. I had something there, but it died. So last year, like as my annuals lining right here, I did white begonias. They did okay. I don't love begonias. Like my entire yard is all shade, so I'm pretty limited, but I have been loving petunias and I wanted to give them a whirl. Even though I knew they wouldn't get full sun, I really wanted to give them a shot. They're surviving. I wouldn't say they're thriving though, but they're doing okay. We'll see through the rest of the summer. Part sun to part shade. So they're definitely in part shade. I did a whole video about the makeover process of my front porch. Here's kind of just an overview. I'll put a before picture in here just so you guys can see. But like I said, if you want to watch a more in-depth video, I'll have that linked. I've got my fake topiaries up by the door, and then I've got my hydrangea wreath that I made up here. The bow is looking a little sad. I think I need to give it a new bow. And as much as I love buffalo check, I'm starting to get a little over it. And then of course my porch swing, which I sit out here every single morning, you guys, and drink my coffee and look at my flowers. And it's like my favorite thing in the entire world. If you guys are looking to invest in a porch swing, this is literally the best. It is so good. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. And while I am still up front, I want to ask you guys the question of ages. How do you feel about painted brick? Because I think I really want to paint my brick white, but I know a lot of people are super against it, and they say millennials painting brick is the equivalent of boomers putting carpet and linoleum over hardwood floors. I think white would just look really sharp. Do you support that, or are you like, don't do it, you're gonna ruin it? Let me know. Whether I paint the brick or not, next year what I do plan on doing is framing out the door with some nice trim work and potentially adding some width to the columns and a little bit more detail. So that's on my docket for next year. All right, and from the end of the driveway, I'm actually gonna show you guys by my mailbox real quick. Kind of a hodgepodge, but I don't hate it. So this and this are mums from last year. And then I planted all these petunias, but you can see it is still just kind of like a cascade of colors. I love the purples with the pinks mixed together. Oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful. The arrangement with like the height, these need to move back. Shorter stuff needs to be up front. From the mailbox, we will go to the center garden part, which I think is the last part I'm gonna show you guys. So, like I said, if you watched my other landscaping video, you saw me working in this section, and it looks completely different now. I just mulched all this yesterday, and it was so much work. So this is a really big area, and honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna get to landscaping the other half of it. So I focused on just half of it this year. It may or may not happen. But what I'm also gonna do is work on getting a nice little rock border going on here. All the hostas that I divided and transplanted are thriving, they're doing great. So next year, my plan is to literally have a hosta border go all the way around the entire thing. These daylilies, if I decide to keep them, I'm gonna move back because they're too tall. I actually really don't love daylilies either, and since these are shaded, they don't really get a lot of blooms, so they might go bye-bye, I don't know yet. My bleeding hearts are dying back. This creeping Jenny does look like kind of a mess, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm trying to do with it. This is a Summer Crush hydrangea, which did not even bloom last year, but there is a couple little buds on there, which I'm happy. I needed to find the right place for that. All my big hostas. So, let's see. These are my other two hydrangeas. They're both new this year. This is a Nico Blue, like Home Depot brand, and it's big and leafy, but I don't see any blooms on this. I'm hoping it'll get there. This is another Endless Summer. It's the Bloomstruck one, which I thought was supposed to be more of a purple, but it's pink. But I don't mind. I just I don't mind what shade my hydrangeas are. I love the blues, purples, pinks, greens. I think they're all gorgeous, so I'm not too picky. Right there and over here are phlox. I can't remember what kind, like wild phlox or something. I'm not entirely sure when their bloom time is, unless it's up or they're just not getting enough sun. I don't know, so I have to figure that out. Eventually I want to fill this in with a decent amount of plants so there's not so much open space but still a little bit of breathing room. So then that leads us to the other half that I haven't tackled yet. My tentative plans for this are, that's an azalea. I have plans to move 2 other azaleas over here that are in a different place in my yard. Obviously I need to weed and clear out some other areas, but also curious if you know what the heck these things are. I have no idea what they are, and they're super weird looking. I want to dig a huge trench like where those are and do a bunch of spring bulbs, so like tulips, so that those will be in front of the azaleas. But otherwise it is a work in progress, but I'm learning so much every year, and I just really love to see the payoffs of my hard work. I can't wait to keep just fine-tuning this every year. If this didn't feel overwhelming enough for the second half, I have got this entire section over here that is so overgrown, hasn't even been touched since I moved into this house. I haven't tried to landscape any of this. There's a bunch of pachysandra in here. I want to keep the pachysandra growing, all these azaleas. I want to get another bowl for a bird bath, and I want to get some kind of really cool cement garden statue in here. Maybe do like a little stepping stone path through the middle. I've got some ideas in my noggin, but holy shit, look at that moth. What the flying hoot is that?
Hi.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. I'm definitely going to post at least 1 more, hopefully 2 follow-up videos so you can see how everything progresses over the summer season. I am stoked to see my hydrangeas just get super full and fluffy with blooms. If you enjoy lifestyle and home and garden type of content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below if you're not already subscribed. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!